Hey guys, John Gordon here with Growing with Gordon, and I have a very quick yet popular question that I get from realtors, that I get from investors, people who've been in the business for years and years, to others who just want to get into it for the first time. And when I mean it's still that broad term of the type or style of investing that you're interested in doing when it comes to real estate. If you're looking for rentals, short-term, mid-term, long-term, flips, wholesale opportunities, the list goes on. And that overarching question is, when it comes to real estate investing, how do you find deals? So, how do you find deals? What does it mean to find a deal? What is the buy box or search criteria that you're looking for? There's a little bit of research that has to, not a little bit, there's a good amount of research and understanding that has to go into this idea of finding a deal before you even dive into finding houses, because you won't know what a deal is until you have a few requirements set of what it is you're looking for, the experience you want to have with that deal or with that type of investing. Do you have financing lined up? Do you have kind of all your ducks in a row? And most importantly, do you have the laws, rules, regulations, understanding of what can and can't be done? Have you talked to a financial advisor? Do you know the funding? Are you investing in this? There are just a lot of these questions that we will dive into deeper. And really the part I want to focus on is, how do you find these deals? Because that's kind of like what comes first, chicken or the egg. This is the golden nugget. So I'm going to go over ideas of what I currently use, strategies I've used in the past, ideas and analysis or brainstorming of what could work in the future. And this market is ever changing, and the market where it works for me may not work for you in your specific market. Again, my market is Northern Virginia. We do a little bit in DC and Maryland, and you could be listening to this in Richmond, Virginia, or Bridgeport, Connecticut, or San Francisco, California. And I always push to have you talk to like a mentor or other people who are in the line of investing that you're interested in going into, just so you can brainstorm with these guys, so you can learn about the mistakes that they've made, what strategies they're using, finding meetup groups. Like, there's a lot of ways to, one, find deals, but also surround yourself with people who are doing it, because you're not the first to do it, and you won't be the last to do it. So make sure you have a clear understanding of the criteria that you're looking for, or what your buy box is. Have all the other main items lined up, like financing, if you need a realtor, if you are a realtor, who the contractor is going to be, the management team. Make sure all your ducks are in a row. But I want to emphasize this. You can go into analysis paralysis and not actually take action, which is the hardest part. And so that's why there are plenty of people around you that you can brainstorm with, that you can either find a mentor, get examples, or find someone to partner with who've done it if you just want to learn. There are a lot of different ways to go about it. And where it comes back to is, how do you find these deals? So as I started, I became a realtor, but I shadowed a good friend of mine, Jason, because he was flipping homes in Richmond. And I just started shadowing him because I wanted to learn more about the ins and outs of what he was doing, which then led me to become a realtor. And here we are today. So flipping homes in Northern Virginia, they're very competitive markets. You have to know what to look for. And my partner and I and my team, we sat down and we figured out what our buy box was, what we're comfortable with, what we're willing to do. And that's even shifted over the last few years. We were a lot more aggressive early on, but now, after going through multiple deals, the stresses of multiple deals going wrong, we've refined that criteria so that we understand what we're getting into, we understand the back end, and hopefully the reward, the risk, no reward, but the reward at the end of the project is worth the stress involved with doing it to begin with. So first getting into it, with the brokerage that I was a part of, first deal came really through the MLS, which is the multiple listing service, where agents are required to, I guess technically not required, but it's where agents post their listings for sale. And this particular property was on the market for weeks on end. And this was around the holiday season, season between Thanksgiving and Christmas, which I don't even have this in my notes, but a lot of times the best deals can be found between late October, early November through January, because as I said it's the holiday season. A lot of times people don't want to make a move until after New Year's. They don't want to deal with the hustle and bustle of dealing with the holidays and moving from point A to point B. So if that's a golden nugget there, it's sometimes the best times to look are during the winter season, just because real estate usually, quote unquote, slows down. But in this sense, that's where you might be able to find diamonds in the rough. So let's go back to the MLS. Sometimes realtors may not list property correctly, or maybe they do. You have searches set up and all of a sudden you see a $400,000 townhouse pop up and all the other townhomes are $600,000. And you're like, why is there such a price deficit or difference? So when you see stuff like that, it gives you the opportunity to look into it and see, why is it such a price difference? What's going on? Maybe it's a good flip opportunity if you're looking at townhouses within the $400,000 to $600,000 price point. It can go also, our team has renovated split levels or bi-level, split foyers. So where you walk in through the front door, there's stairs going up or stairs going down right as soon as you get in. And we've been able to convert them to be a similar square footage as colonials, which are usually 3 levels or 4, usually 3, I guess 2 to 3. And they may have been listed half the square footage, but if you finish the entire space, the pricing can be comparable, not as much as what you could get for a colonial, but pretty close depending on the finishes and work that's put into it. So look for, this goes back to the criteria, have your buy box or your specific must-have list and stick to it. Try not to venture off from it too much. And then once you start proactively learning your market, learning the neighborhoods, people say it's lucky to find these deals. Well, you're going to create your own luck if you're consistent with it and looking and just putting the word out there. So what do I mean by that? Putting the word out there. And this is, you don't have to be a realtor to put the word out there. Tell your friends and family, especially if you're from the area. If you went to high school and you're working in these areas or you want to invest in these areas, reach out. You can put posts on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any of the social media platforms. Send a blast text out to your friends, family, especially if you have aunts and uncles, cousins that live in the different neighborhoods. Just let them know. Be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm interested in. If you know of anyone who has a house that needs work or a friend that, whatever the situation is, I would love to know about it and give them the best opportunity, whatever that is. So my next bit of advice is you don't have to be a real estate agent to invest in real estate. If you're not a realtor, then I would choose either a team or an agent that you have chemistry with. And the next step is I would choose a realtor or a team that actually has experience in investing in real estate. There are plenty of realtors, which you can do the research, you can do all that stuff, but there are a lot of realtors who are like, oh yeah, I can help you in investing, but they have no idea what they're talking about because they haven't actually gone through the process. So, it can be biased. There are a lot of great agents out there who haven't bought a rental property, and I don't want to step on toes or assume one thing versus understanding the whole story, but this is just advice. Working with someone who has purchased rental properties on their own, or has worked with clients who have flipped homes, or has managed projects, or just actually has gone through the process so they have that true experience of, here are things you should look out for. Here's things to what I did differently. Here's ideas of stuff to look into, and don't put all of your weight onto that agent or team. Obviously, do your own research, do your own due diligence, and make sure that it checks the boxes that you're focused on. So that is probably one of the crucial points if you're not a real estate agent. But there's plenty of opportunities in investing where you don't have to be an agent. It's just another avenue to go down because realtors sometimes get that first look or first bid or first opportunity of finding that deal. So as we move down the list, canvassing neighborhoods. Or what does that mean, canvassing neighborhoods? There's a popular term called driving for dollars, so that there are folks, I believe they're called bird dogs. I'll have to check to see the terminology, but this is what they do. They drive through neighborhoods and they find homes that may be older, or they find neighborhoods specifically with more or less turnover, depending on what you're looking for. People who've been in the homes longer, the types of properties, and really there's just set criteria, but more importantly, they find homes that maybe look like they're in disrepair or The grass could be overgrown. The plants could be overgrown. It could be a landlord-tenant situation, and then you have to find the landlord's information. But there are different kind of key factors to look out for. And then you go into public records. Don't bombard the person, but there are ways to get that information and be like, look, I'm interested in moving into the area, or I'm a local investor. There's just conversations that you can have to try and be a solution to a potential person's problem. Who knows what the story is? You just learn what their story is and see if there's a way that you can help. So moving down, kind of touched on this before, but talking to absentee owners or landlords. Again, a lot of this information can be found online. There are plenty of platforms that you pay a small monthly fee that may send this information. We're getting into the dialogue and script practice, or the conversations that you're going to be having with these folks. So you might get lucky and the first person you call, the absentee owner, may live in California and they own 12 properties in Northern Virginia. They may want to selling them, or they may have one or two that they don't want to deal with anymore. You just never know until you have that conversation and ask. Be like, look, I'm a local investor. I'm interested in doing X, Y, and Z. Who do you know who I can talk to? Or are there any properties in disrepair that you want to get rid of? I'm happy to do X, Y, and Z. So a lot of different conversations, ways you can go about it to find these deals. As we move on, you can work with wholesale partners or companies. I'm sure there are multiple companies in different regions or towns or areas. You can go to meetup groups. I'm sure there's a wholesale team or individual. And what does it mean to wholesale? It means basically what we're talking about, finding off-market properties and selling the contract. So they're able to get under contract and they wholesale it, or they assign it to that investor or that person of interest, or to you, and they get an assignment fee or an amount, a wholesale fee, a sum of money as a reward for finding the deal and selling it successfully. So this is where, again, they may do their own due diligence, but I keep emphasizing on this term, doing your due diligence, know your research, know what your buy box is, and if it checks those boxes, then it should be a good deal. Another way to find deals, kind of touched on it before, but you can do your own marketing. So social media is a free form of marketing unless you boost out content or pay for someone to help you with your content delivery. But mailers, you can send mailers out to communities. You can do phone calls. I like taking more of the old school approach and door knocking, where there are a lot of different conversations that you can have around just knocking on people's doors, and you can't be afraid of rejection. You have to be okay getting your 10,000 steps in and just be yourself. Be a genuine human being. Don't try to be a salesperson, because then you'll probably get the door slammed in your face. See if you can learn the story of each person that you get the chance to talk to, and just be yourself. Don't try to pretend or be someone else, because people will usually see right through that. Other options, more creative options of finding deals, are either through foreclosure or auction sites, where homes do continue to pop up because for whatever reason, we all know what foreclosure is, we all know what auctions are, but a lot of times people have had a lot of success with that. Just make sure you learn the pros and cons to auctions, what you can do, what you can't do, the sum of money that you need up front. A lot of times you can't even get into the house until you have a contract on the house. So there's risks really with any type. Another option of finding deals that aren't on market, they're off market, are working through finding, meeting, helping estate attorneys. Every family, I can't assume every family, a lot of families, let's say a grandparent moves on, passes away, parents pass away. It's the story of life. It happens. And estate attorneys usually work with families to sell the estate and then make sure funds get divided evenly, or however it's configured in the will. So a lot of times these estate attorneys will have these properties that could be opportunities, because sometimes I like to call them estate homes, but a lot of the homes that we renovated in Northern Virginia were estate deals, either sold on the MLS or off market, or was a connection or a realtor referred it to us because they knew that we were looking for quote unquote ugly homes. The house was in good shape, great bones, they took care of it, but it just hadn't been updated in 20, 25 years. So that's kind of like the diamond in the rough. That's a great opportunity to renovate a house without fully gutting it and redoing it, but just, again, comes back to your buy box and what you're looking for. Something I want to follow back up with is building rapport. there have been so many opportunities and deals that have been sent to us just from being yourself, being a professional, being courteous with other realtors or people that you work with in this world, with other vendors, because they will send you and refer you opportunities, deals, potentially before anyone else. And you just love on those folks. Be like, hey, don't ask them for business. Be like, how can I help you? What are things you're working on? Oh, and by the way, if you find a house that's in disrepair, I'd love to take a look at it. This is what I do. This is what I love, and would love to help you in any way I can. And these vendors can be very strategic with who you work with, because you're going to need these guys anyways if you're renovating a house or you own a rental property or whatever the case may be. But a lot of times there are vendors that you want to have specific friendships with, like junk removers. They go into homes constantly removing junk from houses. A lot of times those homes are about to be sold, or the folks who are removing all the stuff are going to list it, and it could give you the opportunity to be the first person in the door to help those sellers kind of work through, figure out what the best option is for them. Other vendors like inspectors, contractors, HVAC repairmen, really the list goes on, because they're going into homes every single day, and you just never know what that person needs. So it's always be out there, get feet on the pavement, call, send mailers, do whatever you have to do just to get the word out of what it is that you're looking for. And I can't emphasize it enough, but let your friends and family know what you're doing. I've had plenty of friends take screenshots of Facebook posts of houses that have burned, and they're like, hey, is this something that you'd look for? And I always thank them. Even if it's not, I'm like, thank you so much for sending this. This house looks like it needs a lot of work. I've analyzed it already and really appreciate it, brother, for sending this over. And let me know if there's anything else I can help you with too. Because your friends, your family, if you're a realtor, then you can help them buy or sell, or their friends buy or sell. Even if you're not a realtor, you have this vendor list of A+ folks that you work with and trust, and they may need a contractor, need an electrician, they may need a junk removal company. It's just be that resource for folks, because it will help you in the end. And lastly, I mentioned this with a few of these options. They're different ways to go about it. I never ever want to take advantage of folks. You want to give people options, what makes the most sense. You don't want to push your agenda. You don't want to cheat people out of something. It's be a good person, do the best that you can with that, and give people options of, here's option A, here's a cash offer, whatever the case may be. Option B, we can renovate the house to sell it. Option C, sell the home as is. Understand your background, understand the rules, regulations, and just understand with confidence what you have to offer. And there you go. And I'm sure, and this is just a few options that I've listed, I can guarantee there are multiple ways to find these deals that are off market, on market, what to look for. And my advice is just to understand what it is you're looking for. So then when the opportunity presents itself, you know to chase after that opportunity. So that being said, it was a pleasure. On to the next, and best of luck.